All right, guys, welcome back to the TCI Studio. Davis and I getting back in the studio. It's been a little while, but we're going to try to get together once a week or so and crank out some videos for you guys. A lot more to talk about now. Davis, big news came down yesterday, something we knew was coming and kind of knew it was going to come before early July, but the ACC made things official with the new schedule format and released some information, even going as far as letting everybody know the first 4 years what that schedule is going to look like. What are your initial thoughts on the 3-5-5 model?
Well, praise the Lord that we're done with divisions. I don't understand divisions. I don't think anybody should have divisions. College, NFL. I mean, other than like the geographic proximity, some of these teams allegedly have to each other. I don't understand the point of it now. With since conference expansion, the last decade or so. I mean, this is becoming more about the almighty dollar rather than who's closer to each other in terms of proximity. But I think it's a good thing, and I think it's for Clemson's sake. I think it's a good thing, assuming that they get back to where they're going to the ACC championship game every year. It's better for them to actually play the second best team in the conference, which now is going to be the case because the top two winning percentages within the conference are going to play for the title rather than champions of each division. I think it's better for them because the knock on, fairly or not, has always been, Clemson just beats up on a weak ACC, right? So I think it's better for them to actually play the team that has the second best or top winning percentage in the conference rather than a 4-loss team that was a conference champion from the Coastal. I think that bids better for them, and I think overall, I think it has a chance because of their permanent opponents with Florida State and NC State and Georgia Tech being in that mix. I don't know that Georgia Tech's ever going to really help them in terms of strength of schedule, but you look at obviously Florida State.
They've won a couple national championships.
Yeah, was I around back then?
You were.
But when you talk about, I think the ACC is at best when Florida State and Miami are up there too, right? When they're Florida State and Miami, and now with Florida State, obviously they've been down really ever since Jimbo Fisher left. But if they can get back to where they're Florida State again, I think they can with just the tradition and the money and the recruiting footprint that they have. If they can get back to being sort of that power two, that gives Clemson a team, that could be in the top 25 every year on their schedule. And then you're rotating, the other teams on there, rotating 5 new teams on there every year rather than having to wait, 4, 5, 6 years to play some of these other teams. So I think it gives you, if you're Clemson, it gives you, just from a strength of schedule perspective, I think it has the opportunity to boost your resume when you're talking about, bidding for a playoff spot every year.
Well, you're going to play every team, home and away, every 4 years.
In a 4-year period.
So that's one of the things, if you come to an ACC school, you're going to get to go to all of the opponents' stadiums sometimes during your 4-year career if you stay for 4 years. You mentioned the schedule benefit. Miami may be the, we've said this so many times. It may be coming back.
Right.
NIL is certainly helping them. Clemson has them on the schedule the next 3 years.
Right.
Play them this year, then they'll play them home and home the next 2 years after that. So that's a great game. We told you guys, Davis and I were down in Amelia Island when all this stuff started stirring up at the ACC spring meetings, and we told you at that time that it was going to be Florida State, Georgia Tech, and then we told you later we knew what the third team was, but we couldn't quite put that out there yet. Can't tell you now, NC State obviously is now the third team. I can tell you Louisville was the other team they looked at for Clemson if they hadn't gone with the Wolfpack. I like having NC State. I know some of the reaction on our site yesterday, some of the fans weren't super excited about that, but I like that close game. I like to go up to North Carolina at least every couple of years for that game. But the other thing I like, Davis, is Clemson's not going to have to travel to Syracuse and Boston College every other year.
That's
There's
true.
a year, I can't remember which year, maybe 2025, where they've got 3 games in North Carolina on their schedule. It's just going to be, they're going to be some much nicer road trips, shorter road trips. Fans are going to be able to get a little more engaged. From Clemson's standpoint, since you want to be one of the national elite teams, you want that strength of schedule.
Right.
So playing Florida State, if they do come back, like you said, that's a plus. NC State,
We'll see, yeah.
currently is up there, but they haven't traditionally been up there. And then Georgia Tech, as you said, last decade they haven't done a whole lot. But previous times there have been times where they've had national championship caliber teams. So that's a good close game for us again. I like that one. So I'm fine with the opponents. I love the fact that we're going to be able to go to every stadium at least once every 4 years.
Yeah, well, that's my thing. Is like you have some of these kids that you come to college for 4, maybe 5 years somewhere, and you don't play everybody in your conference. It just seems odd to me that you come to college that long and you still don't play. You're not guaranteed to play everybody unless maybe you meet them in a conference championship game or something. Considering right now you have divisions, and that's the only way you could play some of those teams in another division before like 4 or 5 years. So yeah, I like the fact that, to me personally, that everybody that comes and plays college football is actually going to play every team in their conference before their career is over.
You're still going to have the Notre Dame tie-in with the ACC. That's going to continue, where they play about 5 ACC teams a year. Clemson plays them up there this year. Next year they'll be down playing in Death Valley. So that'll be a nice part of the schedule too. So, well, Davis, obviously they talked about a lot of different options, but if they're going to get rid of the divisions, which I think we both agree is a good thing, the 3-5-5 format seems about as good as they could have come up with.
Yeah, I like it. Not only do you get to rotate 5 new teams on your schedule every year, but it allows you to keep those rivalries intact within your conference, which I think was a concern for fans and just people that follow the sport in general. As well, if you do, we got to keep divisions to keep these rivalries intact. It's like, no, you don't. You just do what they did, and you pick 2 or 3 teams that you still want to play every year, and obviously for most teams that's going to be your rivals within your conference. So you get to preserve the Textile Bowl with NC State. I know you mentioned a lot. Some fans aren't crazy about NC State. That's true. I think, like you said, if you're going to get rid of divisions, just turn it into one 14-team league basically. I think that this is about as good as you could have come up with.
All right, there's our first video for you guys back in the studio here. Just kind of a recap of the big news that came out yesterday. Stay tuned to the Clemson Insider. We're going to have a lot more coverage here from the TCI Studio for you guys.